college student suspects a series of bizarre deaths are connected to certain urban legends.
This is Ryan.
And this is Ashley.
And this is
Ruining Our Childhood.
Hi, guys.
A podcast where sometimes we don't record for a month.
But we're back.
We are.
Yes.
We're back with some Halloween movies because, holy shit, it's already October.
Yeah. Years flying by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It is.
How are you?
I'm good. We took a little bit of a break. A little bit of it was planned.
Right.
Because we were going to go take a little trip, which we did.
We did do that.
But then also, life gets in the way.
Mm-hmm.
And as you guys are all probably aware, October is Cancer Awareness Month.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, my father was diagnosed with multiple forms of cancer.
Yes.
That's where we've been. If you guys could just keep him in your thoughts and prayers, we would appreciate it. He could use all the positivity that he can get.
That's true.
So.
And for the listeners that have been listening for a long time, he's the one that famously said, yeah, I don't want to listen to that.
Yeah.
When your mother was like, do you want to listen to Ryan and Ashley's podcast?
Yes.
No.
He thought it was a podcast about how our lives as children were not good.
Yeah.
No. So, yeah. He's a silly guy.
Yeah. But we're back.
Mm-hmm.
For at least as long as we can keep it going.
Yeah.
We'll be trying to get these episodes out as much as possible.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we love doing them.
We do. Makes us laugh.
It does.
Yeah.
Sometimes it makes us cry.
Let's not do that.
What are we doing? I don't know.
What year did this movie come out?
Oh, this is a 1998 classic, the horror mystery thriller, according to IMDb. Those are the three things that it was listed as. Classic urban legend.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
What do you remember from this movie?
I only saw it one time.
Oh, man.
Saw it in theaters. Mm-hmm. And I remember, I don't know how it started. There was a good-sized group of us, and we would cheer every time someone died.
Wow.
We were those obnoxious teenagers that you hate in theaters now. Yep, that was us.
I do hate that. I do hate teenagers.
Same.
Because of that.
Exactly.
Man, I think I've seen this movie quite a bit. I definitely remember the very first scene vividly.
Mm-hmm.
Because also I think maybe it's Scary Movie does a spoof on it.
I'm sure they probably did.
Or maybe it's Scary Movie 2. I can't remember.
I don't remember the first scene, so...
Oh, man.
But maybe when we watch it today, it'll trigger that memory. I'll be like, yep, Scary Movie 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But anyway, 1998. You want to hit us with a couple of movie facts, and then we'll go into our memory facts, or whatever we call them?
Yes.
Going down memory road.
Just quick fact, movie was released on September 25th of 1998. It had a budget of $14 million, and it actually made $72.5. Pretty little decent movie there.
Pretty little decent.
Pretty little decent. So my fact about 1998 was the Major League Baseball home run record chase. If you remember, quite a few episodes ago, I did the 1994 baseball strike.
Right.
This was kind of what saved baseball. Baseball really struggled to get the fans to come back after the strike. Basically, what happened was back in the 1960s, Roger Maris broke Babe Ruth's home run record.
Okay.
And he had hit 61 home runs back in 1961. And that record stood until 1998. On September 8th, Mark McGwire actually hit his shortest home run of the season. It only went 341 feet. It barely cleared the outfield wall. Mm-hmm. And it was caught by a groundskeeper. His name was Tim Forinas. And he was offered millions of dollars for that baseball.
Okay, I vaguely remember this.
Yes. And he declined all of the offers to sell the ball.
Uh-huh.
And he simply gave the ball to Mark McGwire.
Oh, wow.
fun fact, the chase was between Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa.
Right, right.
And ironically, as luck would have it, they played each other that day. So when he hit the home run, Sammy Sosa was able to go in and give him a hug. And they still kind of went back and forth because there was still about another 3 weeks of the season left. And actually, by the end of that weekend, Sammy Sosa had caught him and they had tied. But McGwire finished the season with 70 home runs, and Sammy Sosa had hit 66. As luck would have it, both of them were on multiple steroids.
Well, as luck would have it.
Yes. So.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they were both under a lot of performance-enhancing supplements.
Right.
And a few years later, Barry Bonds also.
Right.
He broke the overall record. He hit, I believe it was 73, which is where the record still stands. Nobody's really come close to that.
Right, because is it more regulated now? Like the drug testing?
They drug test all of the time.
Right.
Kind of right now, it seems like baseball's in a bit of a dead era as far as like this year. I think the home run for the leader, he hit 48. Mm-hmm. They're not flying out of the park like they used to.
Probably because they don't have the steroids.
Yes.
To push that.
Neither one, McGwire or Sosa, they're not in the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. Probably because of this.
Right.
I actually think they should be in the Hall of Fame. I went to games that year, saw them both play. Stadiums were packed.
Right.
They did a lot to save baseball. Yeah, they were on steroids. But
would you also say they did a lot to damage the future of baseball? Because now, in the grand scheme of things, you can say, like, okay, we had this, like, amazing, crazy record-breaking, and now nobody can come close to that because nobody's on steroids.
I guess.
I mean, people still enjoy watching baseball, regardless, but...
And I think it's hard to just erase what these guys did. A lot of people were on steroids. They weren't the only two.
Right.
And they actually never failed a drug test because baseball was not testing around that time period.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Put an asterisk maybe on their plaques and say that they were suspected users or whatever you have to do. But they did a lot. A lot of people came back. It made a fun summer of baseball for everyone.
Right. And if you think about it, if they were both playing on the same kind of playing field.
Yes.
Like, it's not like Sammy Sosa was doing it with pure natural talent, because then, obviously that would be amazing.
Yes.
But since both of them were using, I don't know. It's kind of a wash, I guess.
Like I said, I know there's a lot of people that are like, F them, and,
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean, but I'm like, you have to think that there's a lot of pressure on athletes to be the best. And I'm not making excuses for it, but we put a lot of money and pressure on athletes to perform. And then when they don't perform, we're like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Why are you here? It
was kind of funny because Barry Bonds, I think, also has the overall career record, and everybody wanted A-Rod to break it because A-Rod wasn't a steroid user.
Right.
Well, he
Allegedly.
was. He was. He failed drug tests.
Yeah.
He was suspended for entire seasons. So now I don't know who anybody, maybe Mike Trout, people want him to eventually break the record. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It brought people back. It was fun.
Yeah.
Good times.
It's probably the only time I watched baseball playing on a regular basis.
I mean, at this point, when it got real close, ESPN was broadcasting those games every night. It wasn't a once-a-week game or anything like that. It was like, we need to watch this. What is your fact?
So my fun fact was, and I never knew this, in 1998, Sony released a Handycam camcorder, which obviously home movies became very popular with the invention of the technology, and Sony was probably getting to the point where they were actually pretty small. They were probably using the VHS-C tapes. But the one model that came out in 1998, they were using an infrared technology to do for their night vision, and it was a big selling point for Sony because I don't think any other camcorders had that technology at the time. Unfortunately, they found out after the release that if people would put a certain white filter on the camcorder, they could see through clothing.
Oh.
Yes.
Holy crap.
So they had to recall like 700,000 camcorders.
Wow.
And also when people started finding out that this was happening, the desire for them became immensely popular.
Oh, wow.
Because there's a lot of fucking creeps in the world.
Yeah.
And I guess there was a surge of people like peeping Tom videos, and because the internet wasn't regulated back then as much as it is today, there's still videos up that they like on all these different like peeping Tom websites and shit. Yeah, and it cost Sony like $100 million.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I never knew about this.
Right.
Did it say which version of the Handycam it was?
I mean, just whatever. It came out in 1998. I don't know the exact model.
Because I felt like this was a time period like maybe my family had one.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I said white.
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 I know this was when a lot of my friends started getting camcorders, and they all thought they were in Scream and videotaping everything.
Right,
but we made like little fun videos. I wonder if any of them had the creep model.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they were, I don't know if eBay was around, but people were like selling them for like 2 or 3 times the value. And
oh, wow.
you know,
Let me help you be a creep.
Yeah, I'm like, when given the choice, there's so many humans that decide to be a fucking creep. I did like in this article that I wrote, somebody wrote about it in April, actually. The writer was talking about how he had one when he was like 15 when it came out, and he didn't realize that that was something you could do. And he since does not have the camera, but he was just like, I remember thinking I felt proud when I did find out about this story, that I was like proud that I never was that person that was like, let me use this in a creepy way. And he's like, you shouldn't be proud that you did something that you know is wrong.
Yeah.
Or that you didn't do something that you know you shouldn't do.
I'm thinking if this happened nowadays in 2021, I was fairly into technology and pop culture, and I knew nothing about this when it happened in 1998. But I'm thinking if it happened now, word would spread like wildfire.
Even more.
And and people would be, it would be even worse.
Yeah.
That's, God.
It's crazy.
Freaking insane.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Wow.
Fun.
1998. We're hitting home runs and being peeping toms.
Now is the time where we guesstimate
Yes.
on whether this movie will hold up. What do you think?
I'm going to say yes. I think it's going to hold up because if I remember correctly, there's a lot of famous people.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say when I left the theater, we all enjoyed the movie.
Right.
I don't know why I never watched it again or anything like that. So I'm very excited to watch this today. And I'm hopeful it's going to hold up.
I think it should be pretty good for a slasher flick of this type.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. There's going to be a lot of well, hello there's. I already kind of ruined one person for myself. I do remember a couple people because I do remember even like the end of the movie, which means I had to have watched it more than once or it stuck with me. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
So I assume if I can remember it, it wasn't a forgettable movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think it's going to hold up for what it is.
Okay.
I'm sure there's going to be some interesting things that don't date well, but...
I'm hoping for some awesome fashion.
Oh, yeah.
Did this come out the same year as I Know What You Did Last Summer?
Was that 1997?
Oh, I think you're right. Where can you stream this movie?
So you can stream it for free on Tubi.
Okay.
Or Pluto TV. If you don't want to do that, you can also rent it on all the other streaming apps where you can rent movies or buy it if you are so inclined.
Jinx. I said that at the same time because we're creeps.
Yeah. So we'll be right back.
We're going to go ahead and hit that pause. And we'll be right back.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Okay, and we're back. We just finished watching Urban Legend, and we're going to go ahead and break down our movie with our categories.
Like we always do.
And our first category is Well, Hello There.
Well, hello there.
Where we talk about any cameos of famous or recognizable actors or actresses that we forgot were in the movie. Who did you notice?
Is it Urban Legend or Urban Legends?
I thought it was Urban Legend. Is it Urban Legends?
I don't know. I'm starting to question it, but I think it's because I was looking at IMDb right before we recorded, and...
Urban legend.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. So we're good.
We are good.
We are saying it right.
Yes.
Anyway, back to Well, Hello There.
Mm-hmm.
My first person is one of the first people on screen, Natasha Gregson Wagner.
Mm-hmm.
She plays Michelle, basically the first victim. Natasha Gregson Wagner has been in several movies like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie, High Fidelity, and then but her last credit is Date My Dad, a short-lived sitcom, it looks like, with Barry Watson.
Okay.
From 2017. But also, she's Natalie Wood's daughter. I always thought she was Robert Wagner's daughter, but he adopted her.
Okay.
Because her father was somebody that Natalie Wood married in between their divorces, because she and Robert Wagner got married twice.
Okay.
So I know a lot about Natalie Wood.
You might be a fan.
Yes.
Yes.
Pretty big fan.
Yeah, just moderate.
Yeah.
My first one was Brad Douriff. He plays Michael McDonald, the gas station employee.
Yeah.
He was in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Okay.
The original Dune.
Oh.
And do you know what he's most known for?
What?
The voice of Chucky.
Oh, shit. I didn't know that, but that makes sense because somebody else later in the cast is quite the horror movie
And
legend.
this gentleman is doing the voice for the new Chucky TV show as well. He's always voiced Chucky, still doing the voice.
You know, it's weird. We just saw a trailer for it, and I actually thought the voice sounded different.
Oh.
But now...
Nope.
Maybe
Same
it's
guy.
just my ears.
Just your ears not working.
What was that?
I don't know where that voice came from.
My next one is a ruining our childhood legend, some would say, Tara Reid.
Yes.
She plays Sasha, one of the group's people. What? I was going to say one of Natalie's friends, who we'll discuss in a second, who's kind of the main character, I would say.
Yes.
But Tara Reid, Sasha, she's in the group of college students that this is all happening to. Tara Reid, obviously American Pie, more recently in a lot of stuff in pre-production.
Yes.
But she was in a Lifetime movie with Vivica A. Fox called The Wrong Cheerleader Coach.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what it's about, but, you know, it's a Lifetime movie, so I'm sure it's interesting.
Yeah. And I saw she was on an episode of The Boys.
Oh, yeah. As herself.
As herself, yeah. My next one was Alicia Witt, who you just mentioned, played Natalie. She was also in the original Dune.
Yeah.
Did not know this. Yeah. She was in Twin Peaks. And then Walking Dead. And more recently, Stargirl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Alicia Witt.
Yes, we
Well,
will.
we can talk about her right now. I don't know why we hate her, but I think it's just all of the characters she's played she's been in a lot of stuff.
Yes.
But all of the characters she played in movies and TV shows, she's always mean and annoying.
And it carried over to, I remember her being on Talking Dead.
Yeah.
With Chris Hardwick. And she was pretentious and just as obnoxious as all the characters we didn't like. So then we're like, well, that's her as a person.
She's not even that good of an actor.
Yeah. We just don't like her.
No, but yeah, like her character in 2 Weeks Notice, hated.
Yep.
Friday Night Lights,
Nashville.
hated. Nashville, hated.
Walking Dead.
Orange is the New Black. I can't remember her character, but I'm pretty sure I hated her.
Just do not like her.
So anyway.
Big Alicia Witt fans.
Yes. My next one is Jared Leto. The Jared Leto plays Paul. Obviously, Jared Leto's been in a bunch of stuff.
He's been in a few things.
Yeah. Suicide Squad. Coming out soon. He's going to be in the House of Gucci movie.
Yes.
With Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dallas Buyers Club.
Won
an Academy Award.
Yeah, no, he's a very talented actor.
Yeah. My next one was Michael Rosenbaum. He played Parker. He was Lex Luthor on Smallville.
Correct.
He was in Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah.
And just seems like he does a crap ton of voice work
Yeah.
in the DC universe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rebecca Gehart plays Brenda, was in the movie Jawbreaker we did for the podcast. It was a great episode.
Yeah.
More recently, she was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and it looks like they're doing an Urban Legend reboot,
Yes.
and she's listed as Brenda. So, spoiler alert, she doesn't die,
Exactly.
which we'll discuss later.
Yeah. Next, I have Joshua Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
He played Damon. We know Joshua Jackson from Mighty Ducks,
That's
Fringe,
true. Mm-hmm.
and he more recently was on Dr. Death.
Yes.
Yeah.
He
We need to
plays
watch that.
The Doctor.
Making death people.
Yeah. It's got Christian Slater in it.
Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good
It's on
cast.
Peacock.
Peacock.
Peacock. I don't know what we're doing.
I have no idea.
We haven't been drinking
No.
or anything.
Nope.
Richard England.
Robert.
Robert.
Yep.
What I wrote Richard.
I have no idea.
I don't know either. I was trying to do it from memory, and my memory is shit.
Fail.
He plays Professor Wexler,
Mm-hmm.
who is a professor of urban legends, apparently. Sounds like an amazing job, to be honest with you. More famously, Freddy.
Krueger?
Yes. I almost said Freddie Prinze Jr.
He's Freddie Prinze. He played a fine Freddie Prinze in the life of Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yes, Freddy Krueger,
Uh-huh.
Nightmare on Elm Street, and all of the sequels. And he did a voice for Regular Show for
Yeah.
the whole run of Regular Show.
I like that you managed to almost call him Freddie Prinze. Like, Robert Englund is not, like, if we're comparing looks, like, wow.
Because I had Freddie Prinze Jr. on my mind just now.
Why wouldn't you?
Yes. And when I said Freddie, that was like like my brain was like, Freddie Prinze Jr.
Uh-huh.
So.
Okay. Interesting.
Anyway.
All right. Next was Danielle Harris.
Yes.
She played Tosh, which I was like, they said Tasha. Nope, Tosh,
Yeah.
like Daniel. She was Natalie's roommate. She was in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter is Dead.
She was.
Way back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Wish Upon a Star with Katherine Heigl.
Seen that movie way more times than I probably should.
I've seen it because I thought Katherine Heigl was quite attractive when I was 14.
Yeah.
And also, more recently, was in an episode of The Conners.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She was also in the Roseanne, like the original show, because she was a very prolific child star, I would say.
Okay.
She was in a lot of things.
Yeah.
Halloween, like 4 or 5.
I was going to say, she was in quite a few of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is next? Oh, my last one. Oh, no. I have a couple. Loretta Devine plays Reese Wilson, who is the campus security guard or head. I don't know. She does her job well, I think.
I would
Maybe
say
a
so.
little too well. I don't know if she's getting paid enough for the amount of work she's putting in.
That's fair.
She is been in literally everything.
Mm-hmm.
The woman has like the longest IMDb I've ever seen in my life. Things I remember her from: Grey's Anatomy.
Mm-hmm.
I put literally everything, and she's also attached to the Urban Legend reboot.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think she might have been one of the only people that did the sequel.
Okay.
Final Urban
Cut?
Legend Final Cut. Did you ever see that?
I think I did.
I don't remember if I did.
Is that the one Joey Lawrence is in?
I didn't see him. The two people I saw that were in it were Jennifer Morrison
Okay.
and what's his face from Legally Blonde and Vampire Diaries, Alark.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I don't have anybody else.
I have one more. Julian Richings. He played literally listed as the weird janitor.
Okay.
The thing I know him from is he plays Death on Supernatural, which is a reoccurring character.
Okay.
Obviously, Death.
Yes.
And he has a very distinct face. Very gaunt, would it be a word?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very thin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's more recently was in the show Chapelwaite that has Adrian Brody and why can't I think of her name from Schitt's Creek?
Annie Murphy?
No.
Katherine Heigl?
No.
Or not Katherine Heigl, Catherine O'Hare.
No.
Emily Hampshire?
Yes.
Stevie?
Yes.
Okay.
I just saw a picture and I was like, it's Stevie. And I couldn't remember her name. I'm not good with names.
Gotcha.
My brain is mush today.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good day.
It's a good day to be recording a podcast if your brain is mush. Speaking of mush, do you want to take a quick break? I don't know.
Sure.
Okay. And we're back.
The next category is called Kids Would Call It a Throwback. We call it the prime of our teens. Or 12s? 14s?
I was 14.
14?
Yeah, I was a teen.
Where we talk about fashion, dated references, offensive jokes, and any noticeable technology.
Mm-hmm. Fashion.
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 Flight of the Conchords
Yes,
reference.
correct. Well done.
It was typical.
It really
90s fashion.
It really was. I thought Parker's clothes were kind of interesting. I always felt like he was wearing like a leisure suit shirt.
He was the party dude.
Yeah.
You know? He was the guy that everything was a joke.
Mm-hmm.
He got his though.
Yeah. He's the guy that they want you to think is the killer the whole time, I feel like. Or one of them.
I believe I put something in my notes about him. I want to really compare this movie to Scream in a sense because I think what they were trying to do was make another Scream but use a different kind of element. Instead of horror movies, it's all about urban legends. Mm-hmm. And I feel like he was supposed to be this like Stu / Billy Loomis.
Oh, okay.
Like even when he got the call right before he died, he was like throwing out references to urban legends. Like, we get it. You're very knowledgeable. Mm-hmm. You apparently pay really close attention in class.
He's a good student.
Yeah.
Which you get none of that.
Yeah. I definitely felt like he was like that sarcastic, like, nothing's going on. Oh, wait, he does.
Shame.
Yeah.
Real shame.
Did you have any other fashion that stuck out?
I agreed with you. It was kind of typical, but also a lot of it came back into style right now. So none of it really kind of goes, oh my God, until the last scene of the movie where it's another school and they're talking about that's just an urban legend. And the clothes they were wearing.
Really flashy.
Real flashy, like a kind of like a neon bowler shirt.
Yeah.
They stood out.
Yeah. I agree. Like, I feel like the main cast throughout the movie was very, like, plain and...
Yeah, like Alicia Witt's just running around with, like, a sweater on. And Jared Leto, like, a button-down shirt. It was not... And it fit normal. Like, it wasn't atrocious.
Like, compared to another movie we did at the same time that also had Rebecca Gehart, Jawbreaker, where everybody's really brightly colored, very fashionable. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this was like, it's like they were playing it safe. Yeah. In a way, which is fine.
Yeah.
I did want to talk about Joshua Jackson's bleach blonde hair, which I believe he also had for Cruel Intentions.
Yes, he did.
So he must have filmed this like around the same time.
A little back-to-back action.
Yeah. But it was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Lee bad.
I'm wondering, was this before Eminem was a thing or after?
Or during, maybe?
Might have been during, yeah.
I feel like 97, 98.
Yeah.
So it could have been a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Who knows? Did you have any dated references?
There wasn't a ton. I did see Reese, the security guard, was watching the Pam Grier movie, Foxy Brown.
Right.
And getting like all into it.
Yeah, she was kind of idolizing.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of wants to be a cop.
Yeah. And then here's this Pam Grier movie where she's a total badass.
Right.
Like, yeah.
I did like when Damon, who is Joshua Jackson's character, is going to take Natalie out for a drive. Mm-hmm. And he starts his car and Paula Cole is playing, which is a nod to the Dawson Creek reference, which I realize how many times they've done that in movies around that time. That's how much like Dawson's Creek was like a very crazy explosion of popularity.
Mm-hmm. And it was a great reaction he has to it.
He's
like, ugh.
Yeah.
Total cringe. Yeah, that's true, because don't they do it in Jay and Silent Bob or something like that when James Van Der Beek comes on screen?
They definitely reference it, and then obviously in Scary Movie, James Van Der Beek does the cameo where he like pops into the window and he's like, oh, wrong bedroom.
Yeah.
So they were very much like a big thing.
Yeah. Never watched it.
I didn't watch it at the time, but I watched it. They played it in syndication on TBS,
Mm-hmm.
and I watched the whole thing. Loved every minute of it.
Every minute of it.
Every minute.
The last reference that I had was Parker calling Paul a Woodward and Bernstein wannabe.
Yeah. I did I did think that everything surrounding Tosh as a character, like she's chain smoking cigarettes indoors.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously really can't do that.
Nope.
As far as legally, you can't. Well, on her dial-up internet, searching for some sweet goth dick.
Yep. Sweet goth dick.
I think there was something about 1998 specifically, because I was thinking of Felicity, the TV show with Carrie Russell. And I think like the biggest problem for college kids in the late 90s was having a goth roommate. That was like almost like a trope in movies and TV shows set in college, you know?
Yeah.
And she was like super goth, like cartoonishly goth.
What I thought of was that character that Chris Kattan and Molly Shannon would play on Saturday Night Live when they were like the goth teens.
Yeah.
And they were so over the top, but it was just a great segment every week.
But you expect that out of something on SNL, and not a movie where I'm like, why is this girl extra goth? Like she's on like a goth blog.
Yes. And like you said, searching for that goth dick.
Did you have any offensive jokes?
I didn't. I felt like there was a ton of head jokes, but there was no offensive jokes that I caught.
I also didn't really have anything other than one line that the dean says when Reese is asking him, like, should we bring in extra security? Because I do think something's going on. Because this whole time they've kind of denied it, or they're just like, it's just a one-off, right? Like when Michelle gets murdered in the beginning. She's like, what about that missing student, Damon? Because Damon gets killed, but nobody's found his body, so they think he's just out for the weekend. And he's like, it's the weekend. He's with a girl, a guy, or a farm animal or whatever. So I'm like, I don't know. It's just too close to being like, I don't know.
That was a good catch on you.
Yeah. Thank you. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I don't know. There's obviously some like sexual jokes between like Parker and Damon, like you said, the head jokes and being really insensitive about a classmate being murdered. But, you know, it's the 90s. Everybody's apathetic and whatever.
And Sasha, Tara Reid's character, kind of had a Loveline style radio show, and she was pretty graphic with the head jokes. And, yeah.
But it's like, it wasn't offensive. It's just...
No.
It's just being, you know, overly sexual, I guess.
Yeah, like you said, they weren't offensive. It was some of the jokes were offensively bad.
Yes. Low-hanging fruit.
Yes.
Any noticeable technology?
Ooh, Michelle Mancini had quite the cassette collection in her car.
Right.
Yeah.
See, I cannot hear that song, Eclipse of the Heart, without thinking about this movie. And that's why I remember it vividly.
I think of Old School.
Well, yes.
Yeah, that's where I go with that song.
The Dan Band.
Yeah.
I also think of that, but I do also think of, like, because it's like, turn around and there's somebody gonna kill her with an axe.
Yeah.
And she's judgy, so she deserved to die. And she also murdered somebody. I'm just kidding. Nobody deserves to die.
No one deserves to die.
To get decapitated while driving.
Yeah.
You have anything else?
I didn't. You brought up a good one with the dial-up internet and the like AOL noises that would play. Like, that's a good one from the time.
So great.
Yeah.
Nostalgic.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we move on?
Yes. Our next category is called Is It Even Good? Where we talk about the plot holes, funniest and cringiest moments. What is the plot?
I forgot to write something.
I didn't write anything either.
Let me just think of something.
All right,
here.
bring it.
A group of teenagers. No, they're not teenagers.
Well, they could be 19.
That's true.
Yeah.
But Michelle was 20.
Okay.
And Alicia Witt's character and her went to high school together.
Okay, a group of 20-year-olds.
A group of college students are brutally murdered. And the main character is gaslit into thinking that she's crazy the whole time.
And you learn not to flash your headlights at someone.
Right. Can I sidebar?
Uh-huh.
So this movie made me remember that there was this lady that worked at our grocery store, and we only had one. I grew up in a very small town. Mm-hmm. And she worked in the customer service area / video store. And she would print up the chain emails that were circulating in the early 2000s that were like about basically urban legends, like the gang initiation headlights off thing. And she would print them, multiple copies, and hand them out to customers as a warning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I just think of, I believe You're Wrong About, great podcast, did a urban legends debunking a couple years back. And that's, it's amazing. Like, none of these things have ever happened.
Wow.
And if they have, it's because they were copycatted from the urban legends. But they're not like this rampant thing. Like, gangs aren't going around with their headlights off.
No.
They have better things to do, man.
I mean, we've talked about some of the stuff we were told, like, don't look at other cars when you're at a stoplight.
Right.
And you look straight ahead. And this one with the flashing of the headlights, that's crazy that she would take the time to print up multiple copies and be like, here you go.
Yeah.
Like it's a bulletin at a church service.
At the time, I even thought it was silly because I was like, we're in a very small town, very small population. Mm-hmm. If this stuff is happening, it's probably happening in a bigger city where there's lots of different people. But the fact that people still believe like this random crime is existing or is like more rampant than what it actually is.
Yeah.
We're afraid that strangers just kind of come slit your throat. And I'm like, that's not, your brother's going to slit your throat first.
Yeah. Someone that knows you. Yeah.
Anyway, plot holes.
I had a couple.
Same.
So, spoiler alert, Brenda's the killer.
What?
I know. But she is moving a lot of dead bodies.
A whole lot.
I don't know how tiny Rebecca Gehart is putting a noose around
Joshua Jackson,
who's a decent-sized man, and hanging him from a tree and then attaches it to a car
bumper.
Trailer hitch.
Yeah.
But she hoisted his body 4 feet up to get it over the car.
Crazy superhuman strength.
I'm like, you are strong as hell.
I feel like they missed an opportunity to be like, she's killing all these people because she's exacting revenge, mostly on Alicia Witt's character. Mm-hmm. So I'm not quite sure why she's killing all these other people, because I don't even know if Alicia Witt was really close friends with any of these people. I think she is closest to Brenda.
Yeah.
She didn't even seem to like Paul.
No. Wow.
Yeah, like, all of the stuff that happened logistically did not make sense. Like, if you compare it again to, like, Scream, there's 2 killers. They're not really moving bodies that much, but if they could, 2 people potentially could move the bodies. She's seemingly everywhere, too, and moves very quickly to the point where I was like, there's got to be a second killer, right? Because I remembered she was the killer.
Same.
But I was like, is Paul also a killer? Like, or I was thinking Parker for some reason, but then obviously Parker gets murdered. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't add up at all.
No. Like I said, so many bodies being moved, and bodies are heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when they're dead.
Yeah.
I've lifted many a dead bodies.
Right? Same.
Same.
No, none at all. There was one line in the very beginning that Tara Reid's character Sasha says. It's right after Michelle's been murdered, the first person. And they're all sitting around in their little university center just chatting about it. And she's like, somebody told me that she was listening to my show when it happened. And I'm like, who? Who told you that? Who would know that? Who would know that this woman was listening to your radio show when she was murdered? Other than Rebecca Gehart, who did the murdering.
Touche.
Yeah.
Good catch.
But Rebecca Gehart was sitting right next to her, so I would have assumed she would have been like, she told me.
Brenda told me this.
Brenda told me.
Yeah. My other plot hole was when Rebecca Gehart, we find out, is chasing Sasha through the radio studio, and it's all being broadcast onto her radio show. I don't think she's using a wireless microphone. How was all of this, like, she's running through a building the size of, like, a really good sized library.
Yeah.
How?
That's a good point. I didn't really think about that.
Because even earlier in the movie, at the beginning, when Sasha's talking about giving head and stuff, she's acting like she's pleasuring the microphone. That is your typical radio microphone.
Right. It doesn't make sense.
Does not make a lick of sense.
Another technology blunder that I questioned was, how did the killer / Brenda communicate with Tosh via IM chat while also being in her room in 1998? You can't use a cell phone for that shit.
Good point.
Did she drag along a computer? Or did she break into, like, the room next to hers?
She's dragging along the laptop that weighs about 8 pounds with
connection.
7 cords sticking out of it. Yeah, go watch You've Got Mail with Tom Hanks and look at all the cords that used to go into a laptop, and then imagine Rebecca Gehart dragging that through a dorm.
Like, just wheeling it? Like, can I plug this in to your connection?
Yeah, hold on. I got a power strip. I need to plug it in real quick. The battery only lasts about 10 minutes.
Yeah. Did you have any other ones?
No, that's all I had.
I guess the only other one I had was how long it took Natalie to realize that this kind of centered around her.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's trying to figure out what's going on. She's the only one that believes anything is going on, that there's a killer out there. And then she just, tells Paul the story about how her and the first victim knew each other in high school and that they accidentally killed a kid doing an urban legend prank. And I'm like, how do you not realize that this is centered around you?
She's not very bright.
And it's like when they think that Professor Wexler is the killer because he is the sole survivor of a massacre.
Mm-hmm.
That was never really explained. Or are they implying that he killed all the people in the massacre?
I felt like that's what they were trying to get you to think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's obviously the professor of urban legends. It just didn't make sense. But I'm like, your thing makes perfect sense. The first victim was the person that killed somebody.
Yeah.
With an urban legend prank.
Yeah.
This isn't hard, Natalie.
Well, for her it was.
I don't know if I had anything else other than I didn't get how quick Natalie was at deciding that Paul was suspicious. He has given, in movies like this, they do draw some suspicion to people.
Mm-hmm.
They put him in situations where like, oh, maybe he is the killer. I never got 1 ounce of Paul being the killer.
It was just right before she starts suspecting him. Like, he was running out of the rainstorm, and she's like, oh, I think it's him all of a sudden. And he tried to call for help, and he's like, the phones are out. And she didn't believe him, so she grabs the phone, and she's like, okay, that checks out.
Yeah.
But
I think it was only because, like, Parker was, like, giving him shit at the party for wanting to send everybody home responsibly. He was just like, maybe you did it so you could write a story.
Yeah.
I just don't know. Her instincts are all over the place. They're not great.
They're not great, and she's not very bright.
Oh, Natalie. Anyway, funniest line or moment?
Unfortunately, my funniest moment, you all will have to go watch this movie to appreciate, which is Natalie's face when she is running through the rainstorm to go and try and save Sasha. We don't like Alicia Witt and here's dumb Alicia Witt face running through the rainstorm.
She was grunting too. She was like,
like we had to pause the movie because we were laughing.
That was mine too, obviously.
Yeah,
that was the best.
And a close second for me was Damon starting the car and the Paula Cole song kicking on. Yeah, it was well done.
I did like that she sat there, ran all the way to the radio station because she could hear Sasha in trouble, and then she just watched her die, and then slowly ran away.
Yeah, she's not a good friend.
No. What about your cringiest liner moment?
My cringiest moment was Parker saying to Sasha, "Who's my girl? Who's my girl?" when she was leaving to go to the radio station. Sorry. But I'm like, she isn't a fucking dog. Who are you talking to? Who's my girl?
And I was like, are you talking to your poor little dog who you make do, what's that called? He had the funnel.
Oh, like a beer?
What is that called? Why is my brain not working today?
Oh my God, I can't think of it either.
You guys know what we're talking about.
God.
With a funnel and a beer.
A beer.
And a beer bong.
Beer bong. Jesus, God.
What is wrong with our
God.
brains?
We're broken.
We're so broken.
What's amazing is we both couldn't think of it.
That's true. That makes me feel a little better.
Children of the 90s. They're like, these people didn't have friends in high school. They don't know what a beer bong is.
I didn't do one. I don't think.
I can't chug anything.
No. Did you have any random thoughts you wanted to talk about?
Oh, boy. I have quite a bit. At the very beginning, when Michelle is getting gasoline, and she stops at a full-service gas station, which apparently only exists in the middle of nowhere, because I've never been to one.
Right.
But the gas station attendant, we don't know this, but he sees somebody in the back seat, so he's trying to get her to come inside. And when she goes to run inside, because it's pouring out, her arm flailing for the run. Ooh, I think I learned where Brie Larson learned how to run for Captain Marvel.
You're so mean to Brie Larson.
Yes, I am. And I love Brie Larson.
Come to find out, and I told you this a couple weeks ago because I listened to her podcast, she's never done any sort of running in her whole life. So Captain Marvel was the first time she did any sort of athletic thing.
Mm-hmm. And I was
which makes sense.
It makes plenty of sense.
But anyway, back to this. I did like that when I was a kid watching this, I remember thinking that Michelle as a character was so bitchy for not pumping her own gas. I didn't realize that there was gas stations where you don't pump your own gas. Somebody does it for you. Mm-hmm. But I was just also kind of fit in with the fact that she was judging him because he was this creepy old guy with a stutter. And obviously, I think this movie just teaches you that you should trust the creepy, weird dudes. Because also Alicia Witt also starts suspecting the janitor, who is just a normal guy who picked her up.
Tried to help her.
And then she was like, he has a coat. He's the killer.
He has a parka. Oh, God. I thought it was interesting that there was this massacre that occurred at the school in the 70s. That would not be an urban legend. That would be a well-known tragedy.
That's true. And they try to say it the school covered it up because nobody wants to go to a murder school. And I'm like, we've had a lot of bad things happen at college campuses throughout our history, and we know about a lot of them, We all know about what happened at Kent State. Yeah. During the Vietnam protests. There's stuff you know about. You might not know all the details and, the reasons why, but you know that something happened. Yeah. It's not an urban legend. Yeah. No. Especially if a bunch of white kids got murdered. That would be front page news on every newspaper. It would be well documented, just saying. I think I got everything. Except for I do want to talk about Brenda's reveal. Mm-hmm. And she was so over the top with her monologue. We're going to talk about that. Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. Earlier you mentioned when Brenda punches Natalie in the face. And apparently, Brenda has Mike Tyson's punching abilities. Right, because it knocks her out cold. Yeah.
And it was not a well-thrown punch.
Well, I mean, we've already established that Brenda has superhuman strength. She obviously has that good old horror movie, can be launched out of a car several times.
Shot multiple times.
I guess, being so hyped up on revenge makes you basically...
superhuman?
Like Captain America.
Yeah. My last great note was Brenda is debating if she's going to shoot Paul or Natalie, and she's doing the eeny, meeny, miny, and then Reese pops up and shoots her and goes, Mo!
Yeah.
I was like, classic.
It's quite the cheesy line.
So well done.
I think that's it.
Okay. You want to take a quick break?
Sure.
Okay, and we're back. Let's move on to our final thoughts. Do you think the 1998 classic urban legend held up to your adult standards?
It was very close because I think overall it's not a bad horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
It does have a lot of cliches it's working with, some horror tropes that have been overdone. I just don't think it holds up because I didn't really care about any of the characters.
I very much agree with you. Like, it does not hold up. The movie, the plot itself is not terrible.
No.
The acting is horrendous.
I agree. I can get down with that.
Yeah, it is bad.
What kills me, and I think this happened a lot in 90s movies, is just how apathetic all the characters are to the multiple deaths happening around them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just making jokes about it, and the only person that seemingly is kind of distraught by it is Natalie.
Mm-hmm.
Even when her roommate dies, a girl's walking by and she's just just so you know, she always looks like that. About a girl that just got murdered.
Yeah.
You're making jokes about her because she's a goth.
She said it to the paramedics to check her pulse.
Yeah.
She always looks like that.
And first of all, somebody just got murdered, or they thought she committed suicide because she's gothic, so that means she wants to die. I'm being sarcastic, of course. Yeah, what?
Yeah, no.
These aren't how humans should process death around them. But if somebody I knew died like that, I would not be making jokes like that.
No, we're not making... Here, come out with the quippy puns.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, I agree with the acting wasn't great, and the plot was good, and I thought the scenes were interesting.
Yeah.
The death scenes and all this stuff, but yeah.
We should, real quick, favorite death.
Ooh, yeah.
I did write them all down.
Okay.
So I do have my favorite.
I will say the first one, because I think that was the one I definitely remembered the most.
Okay.
And the reason I do check my back seat quite a bit.
Because Ashley was a little vague. It was an axe decapitating Michelle as she drove.
Right. And there's a killer in the back seat, which is a classic urban legend.
Yes. My favorite was the dean. The killer slices his Achilles.
I don't like that either. I'm always, I don't know why. I do think about that whenever I'm walking by something.
Just straight cuts it from underneath his car when he was going to get in the car. And then he starts crawling away because he can't obviously walk. Mm-hmm. The killer releases the parking brake. The car slowly runs him over.
The tire thing.
Yes. The tire spikes that they have so you can't drive into places the wrong way, and it tells you severe tire damage. He gets that through his body.
Severe body damage.
Yes. That was such a good killing.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah. So shall we hand out some awards?
We shall.
So, we said this doesn't hold up. So the first award is the valedictorian of the Nicolas Cage Online School of Bad Acting, which I feel like we haven't done in a while.
Yeah, because we've had some hold up. Also, we haven't done a podcast in a while.
That's true.
Yeah.
My bad.
It's all good.
Who do you pick?
I gave it to Rebecca Gehart as Brenda. I didn't think she was terrible until it's revealed that she's the killer.
Right.
And then she tries to think she's Meryl Streep. And here I come with the crazy. It was almost like she went and Googled, it existed in 98, that's when it was created, how to act crazy and over the top, and then she just went with it.
I agree.
It was awful.
I also choose her, and it's literally just for the villain monologue at the end. She's all over the place. She breaks into like a southern accent and calls her like Miss Thang, like, and I'm like, where is this supposed to be? This is like northeast.
It was in New Hampshire.
Okay,
you know, southern draw town, New Hampshire.
But it came and went, and like her hair got crazier. Like the whole movie, her hair is like nice and curly and nice, and it's like she's like, I'm gonna tease it up for the reveal.
She's like, guess who's gonna be playing adult Hermione?
Right,
me.
And it was just obviously not believable as the killer.
No.
Logistically.
No.
At the time, I remember when I was a kid, I did think it was a pretty good reveal because I was like, not a lot of female characters that are killers, you know, and women can get away with killing a lot more. No. I agree with you, though.
The whole time I'm watching this and I'm watching dead bodies get moved, I'm thinking, was Dave Bautista the killer? Because logistically, that's who would be moving these bodies.
And I still think you would need some help.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, too, in that reveal, like, the house, the abandoned building where most of the bodies were, as Natalie's figuring out all these bodies, or finding all these bodies. There's, like, candles set up.
Oh, yeah.
What is happening?
Brenda went around, she hung a body in a closet, lit up candles, everything.
Set up
she's
a
like
slide projector.
Yes. She's like, oh, I cannot wait to see her face when
she's
she
like,
finds out.
My monologue also has pictures for your convenience.
Here's some visual aids.
Yes.
God.
In case you forgot who you murdered in high school.
Yes.
Great. Excellent.
Rebecca Gehart. There's a reason you don't see her in a lot of films, folks.
Burn on. Is
she still with Eric Dane?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think they might have got a divorce finally.
He was like, her acting's terrible. Are you ready to move on?
Catty as shit.
Yes.
Yes.
Our next award is the Thomas J. Hanks Award for Exceptional Acting. Whom did you give your award to?
Mine might be a little shock to you.
I think we're giving it to the same person.
Tara Reid?
No.
Oh, I'm giving it to Tara Reid.
Hot damn.
And I think mostly because her character was actually really likable. I don't think there was anything wrong with her character.
No.
In 1998, they were like, oh, she talks about sex too much, blah, blah, blah. Because, you know, it's that trope of a woman that is comfortable in her body and wants to have sex with people is demonized a little. But I think in her case, it works out because she talks about it on her radio show. It's like she's an expert on it. So her being like sex crazed makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's like her job and what she's good at.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought she did a good job. She didn't have that kind of dazed over kind of look that she has in later roles.
Mm-hmm. I think it also helps that it's that less is more.
Right,
she's not the star of the movie, so she's well-developed supporting actor in the movie.
Yeah.
But you don't get, here's an hour and a half of Tara Reid trying to carry a film.
I think this movie is a good example of why she was popular for a while.
Mm-hmm. You picked a decent one.
Mm-hmm.
I gave mine to Loretta Devine.
She was also
as
amazing.
Reese. I thought, top to bottom, this movie is terribly acted. Even Academy Award winner Mr. Leto, not good. She was the only enjoyable part for me. She was a cool security guard, took her job pretty seriously, but not too serious. But like you pointed out, probably didn't make enough money for the shit she has to deal with.
Definitely get hazard pay.
Yes.
She got shanked.
Yes.
With a switchblade, which I was like, why do you have a switchblade, Brenda? Like, just add it to the random shit that she has.
She's just a crazy killer. She's got a switchblade. Why not?
Yeah, I agree. She was great. I love her voice, too. She has, like, one of the best voices.
She does. So we agree. Not very good, but I would say this. Go watch it, guys. It was a fun watch.
Yeah.
Terrible movie. Have a couple beers, maybe an edible. You'll love the shit out of it.
Still thinking about Alicia Witt.
If for nothing, go watch it for Alicia Witt's face when she runs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't give her the Nicolas Cage.
There was so many, like her, Tara Reid. They were trying to get me to just, here, you hate these people, give it to them. No, Rebecca Gehart.
Okay, well, 96 in the books.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Yeah. Coming back next week with, which one are we doing?
Let's do Toil, Toil.
No, Double, Double, Toil and Trouble, which is a Mary-Kate and Ashley movie.
Yes.
That I thought, until last week, was Double, Double, Toilet Trouble. So.
Double, double, toilet trouble.
Yep.
Still gets me.
It's going to be a good one, guys.
Yeah?
I know Santos is going to be thrilled that we're doing a Mary-Kate and Ashley movies.
Right?
Like, I'm not watching this, guys.
Come on. Okay, so thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. We're sorry we were gone for so long.
Yeah.
I hope everybody understands. And
I'm sure they do.
Yeah. We'll be back next week.
We will.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.